It's Joy Taylor with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herd Line News.
So for Klay Thompson, rumors involving the Warriors' chemistry is overblown. After losing for the third time in their last 4 games, Klay was not having any of that talk.
Based off the past years, are you happy with where this team is at going forward? The playoffs right around the corner.
Yes. That's easy, yeah. Could be much worse.
Some chemistry drama. I ain't hearing any of that.
I think the talk of team chemistry with the Warriors is a bit ridiculous, too. There's certain teams in this league that we can have a serious conversation about the chemistry, like the Lakers or the Celtics, or could even get into it with the Sixers. I don't put the Warriors on that list. Now, at the beginning of the season, I know we were all freaking out about the Draymond and Kevin Durant thing. I think that's pretty much settled, at least at this point. Now, maybe there's some residual feelings about it. We'll find out in the offseason. But as of right now, that doesn't seem to be the case. The Warriors are not the team that I'm worried about going into the end of the season.
I tend to agree. Like, I do want to see what happens with Boogie in the playoffs if he's sitting in key moments, like how he handles that. So far, though, he's handled it very, very well. But I think the biggest difference is that we cover the NBA with far more focus than we ever have before. I mean, remember, the new TV deal, now you have multiple national TV nights on TNT and on ESPN. You have this show, Nick and Chris's show, Undisputed, as well as other networks focusing so much on the NBA. Like, no one talked about NBA regular season before. So all these blow-ups and coaches and players not getting along and lack of team chemistry and bizarre losses, this has happened for the last 50 years in the NBA. The difference is now we're talking about it on a daily basis.
Well, yeah,
it seems like there's more issues.
There's 24-hour news coverage of everything, so it's overly saturated for sure. But I don't think that team issues are really a conversation here. I mean, KD's been out for a few games because he needs some rest. According to Steve Kerr, he's tired, which is fine. What's more interesting about what's happening with the Warriors is if they do continue to not struggle, but just, go through the end of the season, getting tired, resting guys, whatever they're going to do, it could end up moving them down in the seeding, which could move the Nuggets up. And if the Lakers sneak in the 8th seed, then we have a very interesting first round for the Lakers, as opposed to if they match up with the Warriors, which everyone's going to feel like will be over very quickly.
Look, I don't think the Nuggets are as good as their record. I don't think anybody in the NBA thinks that they are. As much as I think Jokic is an amazing player, and they have Malone is doing a tremendous job as head coach. Like, they're fun to watch. I will point this out, that's a better matchup for the Lakers, one in which you feel like they could win. Have you seen the Nuggets home court? Do you know how they have that 52-10 written right below the free throw line? Because that's the altitude at a mile high. Like, you don't want to fool around and play a long series in altitude. That'll screw you up. You'll just have some games.
I mean, I don't anticipate that it would be a short series with the Lakers.
No, I mean, but like, even if I'm the Warriors, like, I want no part of Denver. I want Denver, and I know that you wouldn't face them to the conference finals. I do think that
the altitude is not being taken into consideration when we talk about playing at home against
home court advantage I don't think matters anywhere in the NBA. I don't think it matters anymore, because especially teams, they figured out, the old Spurs, like, all we got to do is win one game, and now we got home court advantage. Fine. And teams can win. We saw the Cleveland Cavaliers beat the Golden State Warriors twice in the last 3 games to win an NBA championship. But I do think it matters in Denver.
So it's time to see who's going places. Sponsored by Toyota. Let's go places. And Le'Veon Bell is going places. The Athletic has reported that there's growing speculation that the Ravens are one of the favorites to sign Le'Veon in free agency. Do you like that fit with Lamar Jackson in Baltimore? They have $20 million in cap space.
No. I know they want to run the ball a ton, and they want Lamar to run it less. But the beauty of Le'Veon Bell is he's great out of the backfield. I mean, as a pass catcher, like, he's a dual threat. And that's not how I believe he'd be used with Lamar Jackson. Like, the true weakness of Lamar Jackson is his underneath and intermediate throws are really inaccurate. And I'm sure they can work on some of that in the offseason. Like, he throws a good ball down the field. It's some of the inaccuracies underneath and short intermediate throws, and that's not really the style of that offense. Like, I think if you look at number of carries, he could get a bunch, but that beats him up. Like, I don't love it.
Yeah, he's more of a patient, hit the hole runner. Well, Gus Edwards, who's an undrafted free agent in 2018, is atop the team's depth chart for running backs. 718 yards as a rookie. That's what the Ravens are working with right now.
Yeah, so and Lamar carrying it 15 times a game.
Right, but obviously
No, he's an upgrade. Like, if I'm the Ravens, I like it. But if I'm Le'Veon Bell, I'm like...
You might not fit his style?
Yeah, style.
Well, he wants to get paid, so whatever...
Fair enough.
However they stylishly signed that check is what he's concerned about.
It does say something, though. If the Jets, if the Raiders, if the Colts, 3 teams with the most cap space and what would think to be the style that would fit him are not the highest bidder or not as interested... He might not be. He's not going to make up the $14 million he gave away last year,
which is unfortunate. But I mean, look, we were just talking about Todd Gurley disappearing in the Super Bowl. I think that has had an effect on the free agent market for running backs. Not that we don't still feel like they're important. They certainly are. I think they've shown over the past few years that it is important to have a strong running game. But I think that's affected it. And finally, according to the LA Times, LeBron will be the subject of an upcoming play entitled King James. Center Theater Group provided a brief play description. King LeBron James' reign in Cleveland brings promise, prosperity, and renewal to a city in desperate need of all three. As the city celebrates a championship, 2 estranged friends spar in a verbal game of one-on-one, revealing past secrets, present truths, and a possible future after the King has left the building. LeBron has yet to acknowledge this yet, so I don't know if he's approved this or not. I mean, I'm sure he has King James copyrighted, so I don't know how this works, but would you go see this play?
No.
Are you into the theater?
I am in the theater, but I'm so backed up on musicals that my wife says I need to. Why haven't we seen Dear Evan? Why, when we lived in New York, did we not see Dear Evan Hansen? Like, I don't know. I didn't even know Dear Evan Hansen was a thing, but apparently it was a thing.
What was the last one you've seen?
Oh, God. I Love You, You're Perfect Now, Change.
Oh, okay. So
which is basically the story of marriage. And it's fantastic. It was a little slightly off Broadway show. Did you see Hamilton? I have not seen Hamilton.
Oh, you got to see Hamilton. Hamilton's amazing. Earl took me to see Hamilton. It was awesome. I don't know if this is going to hit Hamilton level.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. It's about Cleveland and LeBron's reign in Cleveland.
Let's Joy Taylor with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Lie News.
Speaking of LeBron, if I told you LeBron was no longer a top 10 current player in the NBA, you would say I'm crazy. And you might. Next in the Herd.